All right. Trent, how you doing, dude? Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, man. I've been looking forward to this like all week.
Yeah, because I saw you post like maybe at 2 a.m. in the morning here, and saying like this is like your first podcast interview.
Yeah, I never. I'm a little more nervous for this than I was going on stage.
A lot of people would say that, but it's all good. It's all
Yeah,
good, man. But dude, congratulations on your gig with Beasto. That's fucking awesome, dude.
yeah. Thanks, man. It's been kind of still like a overwhelming thing to like think about, and I feel
Yeah.
like it still hasn't set in, but it's like it's part of like what I get to do now. So it's like I've accepted it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And because you're only just replacing for Sean, correct?
Yeah, I'm replacing for Sean on this run, and then the European run, and then we'll go from there. Sean's still a big part of the Beasto family, and the Beasto family's huge. So.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been a fan of Beasto since day one, and I've been following them like their career and stuff like that for many years. And they've always been surrounded by good musicians, from the original members to fill-ins and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, Chuck has a uncanny ability to find some really killer players, especially with drummers. Like he's had a couple of the dudes that I've always followed and admired. Sean's awesome. He had a 7-inch Annapolis for a while.
Yeah,
Tim Hasung, I think, was originally like that dude was crazy with stick tricks, and both him and Seven. I do a
yeah.
few, but
I've seen that on your like on your Instagram reels and stuff that you've been posting up, and on your YouTube
yeah,
channel as well, which is cool. It's always good to like do that for like the entertainment for the crowd, I guess. I'm not a drummer, but
yeah,
you
people,
know, yeah,
yeah, people really dig it, and it's just something that from not only are we musicians, but we're also performers too. So to really bring the entertainment value to the people, especially with a band like Beasto with makeup and just raw, aggressive, uh, like those kind of almost underground style theatrics, like reminiscent of the early days of like Alice Cooper and Kiss and stuff, where it's all like homemade and everything's just
mm,
thrown on, and it's really effective. And having and like me twirling sticks and throwing them and stuff, and it's something for the crowd. Like there's so many little things the crowd could be looking at that makes them want to come back and see it again.
yeah, yeah, exactly right. And sometimes like the drummer or the bass player is always like left out, and they're always focusing on the singer and the guitarist. But then like
Yeah.
with Alice and Beasto, everybody gets a spotlight, and I think that's important in the band, especially if you've been in the band for like a very long time.
Oh yeah, and it's really like you said, like everybody gets kind of a spotlight because I feel like so much in music over the past 30 years, it's always like there's that one or two people, and everybody else just got to sit in the back, just kind of noodling through everything, and
Yeah,
so they don't get to be brought up and be a part of what's going on.
yeah. Have you seen the Hired Gun doco?
Yeah, I have seen that with
Yeah,
the dude from Five Finger Death Punch put it together, and Nita Strauss,
yeah,
Sonic, Glenn Sobel, everybody's in that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Well, I
very
think it
well
was
done
Pink's.
documentary. I watched.
It was. What was that? Sorry.
Oh, I missed it. Get a little
Uh,
lag.
yeah, I've watched it so many times, and yeah, Pink's drummer said the same thing too. Like
Yeah.
he said, he's just a drummer. He's just there to entertain people. But then she gives him the spotlight, and I think that's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, and it's fun that Chuck allows all of us to kind of have a little bit of a spotlight because there's a lot going on with him and Calico on stage. I'm back there watching it, being like, "Oh, this is fun."
Yeah, Yeah, it's like a freak show circus. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
And so so tell us a little bit about yourself, because like I couldn't find any information about you on the web whatsoever, apart from being the
Yeah,
kick-ass YouTube
I'm
drummer. But like, how did your music career started, and who inspired you to become a drummer?
well, I basically was born playing drums. My dad was a kind of a professional rock drummer all throughout the late '60s up until the '90s. So I grew up
Yeah,
watching him play, and he'd worked with a lot of like known people, and was managed by Gene Simmons for a while. Did some stuff
oh
with one of the guys from Leonard Skinner.
wow, oh
Um,
wow.
he's got a repertoire of stuff he's done. So he was my first like big idol because he was my dad and he was there. And so I would just watch him play, listen to him. He'd go on tour and he'd come back and tell the stories, and I'd watch him learning songs, and then I'd be learning from him as he's learning songs. So that was my first initial kind of like training in a sense, because I never took lessons. I just watched him. and
Yeah, yeah.
and
Oh,
in
that's
our
awesome.
household, like, so there's a yeah, in our household there was a lot of music. So a lot of Kiss and Jimi Hendrix and uh, Alice Cooper and stuff was just a constant. So growing up with that like larger than life rock and roll thing was just right from the get go. And so that's where it all started. And I'm a kid from just, well, I'm not even a kid anymore, but I grew up in like the very middle of the United States in Iowa, around cornfields in the Mississippi River. So there wasn't a
Yeah,
lot of like exposure to much of anything. So every little thing I could absorb from rock and metal, I just took it all in and followed it. And I had a band with my twin brother. He was a bass player, and so we did that from the time we were, I don't know, like 10, 11, 12, up until maybe 10 years ago. And
yeah,
we uh, we got to do some stuff with some known names in the industry a little bit, and we got to do like playing at the Whiskey a Go Go, kind of the typical stuff a lot of the rock metal bands will do in the States.
yeah,
Um, and then that started to kind of not work out, and we went our separate ways. And I just concentrated a lot and just drumming and keeping myself busy, because the rock metal world in the States is a little thin. It's got its little patches, but it's kind of hard to really stick out in the States, I feel like, especially with social media and the kind of illusion of being somebody. It's very hard to stick out these days. And
yeah,
I think I think one of the reasons I probably stuck out to Chuck and some of the Alice guys was because I try to be very raw with how I go about like what I post and stuff, because I'm not going to fake things. I'm not going to edit things. I come from the old school, hit drum, go
yeah,
boom, as I always say.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so I think that really appealed to those guys, and seems to be appealing to a lot of people, because the big thing right now, the big talk in the drum world is those online drummers being caught faking and editing their videos. So
mhm, yeah, yeah. When I do guitar covers and stuff like that, I don't do any editing, none of the fancy stuff what you see like on TikTok or on Instagram. I just record it, chop maybe just for like 50 seconds or a minute of it, and just send it and just post it up, and that's it, done.
yeah,
No
yeah,
fillers or
that's
anything like
pretty
that.
much what. Like, yeah,
It's
I
just
try not to edit
normal.
stuff, because I don't got time for that. For one, I work a normal job too.
Same.
Yep.
Same. This is just a hobby.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm hoping for it to become something, more career, more of a career out of it. And Chuck is giving me that opportunity, him and Calico. So just super stoked to be a part of it all.
Yeah, 100%. And you're surrounded by like professionals as well. So who knows if you're going to be after the Dead Daisies tour? Who knows? You might stay a bit longer, but somebody might pick you up and say, "Hey, Chuck said this.
Right.
Want to come play with us for a couple of tours or something like that?" You know, and that's always a good thing
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, you
Good
never
word of
know.
mouth.
And if Chuck keeps wanting me back, I'll do it. I love playing the Beastö Blancö stuff.
Yeah.
I was gonna tell
So,
him like that. Yeah, that like every song's fun to play. I don't have any. If you ask me which was my favorite to play, it's like they're all fun to play. There might be some that are easier than others, but
yeah. Hang on. That's better. Sorry, my my headphones was just playing up then. But who was the drummer that inspired you to play drums? Like, who's the ones that caught
well,
you, like caught you by eye that
aside from
wanted to be a drummer?
aside from my dad, it'd probably be like the earliest drummers I was into was Peter Criss and Eric Carr from Kiss, and Tommy Aldridge. Those were my first like three big ones. My dad had the Tommy Aldridge Hot Licks drum video from the 80s where Tommy's teaching you how to twirl sticks and play double bass and stuff. And so that was kind of like the early influence of double bass, and Kiss was the larger than life. And then I started like when I got a little older, 12, 13, 14, Tommy Lee was the big guy, the big drums and the big, big everything. And him and like John Bonham. I love big sounding drummers with big drums. And as you could tell from my drum set, everything's big. So those were the guys that really from the get-go.
What was your first concert?
Oh gosh. I honestly don't even really remember. I know it's probably a lot of my dad's gigs, but and I think a few old school blues guys that were known in the States. But the first like big real arena show I ever went to was the Kiss their first farewell tour in
Yeah.
in 2000, where it was Skid Row and Ted Nugent opening up. That was the
would have been
first.
epic.
Yeah, that was pretty epic, and I just remember it being loud and smelling like well, I didn't know it was pot, but it was pot. And me and my brother, we were only 11 or 12, so we were like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first big concert I ever went to.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Fucking, I think the first time I saw Kiss is when they opened up with when Motley Crue opened up for them. Or obviously the other way around. I can't remember.
Okay, yeah, that was like I forget when that 2012 ish.
I think so. I still got the T-shirt, but
Oh, yeah, I missed that one. I would have loved to seen that. Like Kiss and Motley Crue are two of my favorite bands. So.
yeah. What do you think about like John 5? John 5 joining Motley Crue.
I'm a big fan of John 5. I'm a big fan of Mick Mars, and like it's definitely a different Motley Crue now since they got back together with Mick out. I still love Motley Crue, and if I get I got to see the stadium tour last year, and John 5 just killed it. He kills those parts. His tone's definitely different, and it's a little bit of a different vibe. But I'm still cool with it. Some of the new songs are cool. Some of the other ones I'm not really into. But I love John 5, and I do miss Mick Mars. You can't even come close to Mick Mars and the tone and the power and the blues influence, because John 5 is a little more technical and fast. So I do like this incarnation of Motley Crue, but I do miss the Motley Crue that set the standard for so much.
But I love John 5 as well. He plays exactly the same record.
Yeah, he shoots for just really like duplicating and staying true to the Mick parts.
how it should be. I'm actually going to
Oh, yeah. What was that?
I'm actually going to see
I'm
John
actually
Five.
going to see John.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, I got to see his one of his solo tours maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and he was
Yeah.
still doing all the creature feature stuff and the makeup and the pumpkins and stuff. He had like blow up thing, Halloween decorations. It was rad. And
Oh,
now he's kind of doing the Hollywood kind of Sunset Strip style, image and stuff. So that's cool too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. And he's actually opening up for Steel
Opening up
Panther.
for Steel Panther.
What was that?
He's actually opening up for
He's
Steel
actually
Panther.
opening up for Steel Panther.
Oh, that'll be really fun. Those guys are a trip.
Yeah. I think there's an echo in your end. Is there an echo in your end?
A little bit. Be coming from the drums.
maybe. So how did you get the Beastö gig?
It was kind of just out of nowhere, really. I always post a lot of Alice Cooper covers and stuff because Alice is one of my favorites to drum to, and he's probably my number one favorite band of all time. So I'm always doing Alice Cooper songs, and it's like, everybody knows it's my dream gig. But
Yeah.
so he saw some of the Alice covers, and Ryan Roxy and Tommy Hendrickson. They started following me, and I kind of would chat a little bit with them. And but yeah, one day Chuck saw one of my Alice covers. He's like, "Hey, dude, you should do a Beasto song." And I was planning on doing a Beasto song, just trying to figure out which one. I was like, "Oh yeah, dude, I'll knock that out like right away." And the next day, I did a grind and posted that. And he was like, "Holy crap, dude, that's killer! We got a new song that we just put out, Run for Your Life. You want to try that one too?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So I whipped up a quick Run for Your Life drum cover, and he
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, dude, I might be talking to you here soon." And then a few weeks later, he asks for my number, and he calls me, and he kind of gives me the rundown about how Sean had some tours that were already booked with a punk band and stuff, and wouldn't be able to do it. So he was thinking about, having me do it, and if I'd be interested. And I was like, of course I'd be interested. And so he kind of was like, let's keep in touch. And he did have another drummer in mind, Elias, who played. Right now he's playing with Filter, and he played with I think Keisha and Orianthi and stuff. So he was kind of in line to do it, but the Filter schedule just kept filling up and filling up. So Chuck calls me, and I was actually at work, and I was like, "Hey guys, I got to take this call real quick." And he calls me. He's like, "Hey dude, I need you to do this run, this 2-week run in the States. Can you do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can do it. I just bought a brand new drum set." And I've actually been learning Beasto songs, so just in case. So yeah, I can do it. And that was kind of that, because it was pretty quick, short notice, stocked up on drumsticks, and put all my drums in cases. And he actually came to my house because the first date on the Alice Cooper Rob Zombie tour was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I live. And Chuck was staying down the road, and he's like, "Hey, can I go over to your house and we can go over these songs?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got a whole room, and we can get your guitar in here, and we could just jam out these songs." So we went through the set list a couple times over 2 days, and he was like, "You got this, dude. You got this." And that's basically how I got into Beasto.
Yeah.
And then it was like a couple weeks later, all of a sudden I gotta fly out to Cleveland, and we did one rehearsal real quick at night, and then the next day played Cleveland. And I couldn't ask for a better just jump in and go, because I'm kind of that type of guy.
Yeah.
Just jump in and go.
No, that's rad, man. How many songs did you have to learn?
The set list, I believe, was like 10 songs. I went ahead and learned like maybe 15, 16, 17 songs or more, just in case I wanted to switch stuff up. And which I was glad I learned a couple songs because we did mid-tour switch a couple things and stuff. So that worked out. And for the European tour, we're going to be doing primarily most of those songs, and like 2 other songs we didn't play in the States. So I learned those and got a couple others that I kind of been listening to just in case.
Yeah, I've seen the set list online. He's actually playing like a lot. They're playing a lot of songs that they don't really play live.
Yeah, I noticed they kind of did some different stuff on this go, which was really cool to kind of switch it up. And we were able to do some of the songs off of Connecticut, which is a whole different kind of style in a sense, from what they normally do, and especially like drum wise, because they were programmed on the album Connecticut. So I had to kind of like go in and do an interpretation a little bit of how those songs were done.
Yeah.
And which I think I did pretty good. They said it sounded close to the album, so that was good because it's always a hard thing to learn programmed drum parts. So that was cool. And then listen to a lot of their live record and what to do and not to do, how to go do the intros and all that kind of stuff, outros. So I kind of really tried to do my homework, which didn't feel like homework.
Have you ever watched the Drumeo like on YouTube?
What is it?
Drumeo.
Oh, Drum. Yeah, I watched a lot of Drumeo stuff. They got some.
They pick an artist and they have to listen to a song that they've never heard before and try to create a script.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, I love watching those videos, and especially the Chad Smith ones where he just listened to the song and he instantly figured out what they were gonna do.
Well, I think my favorite one was a chick, Domino, and she did Before I Forget.
Oh yeah, that was. Yeah, that's I've tried to tackle that song before, and it's a hard one to do on big drums, that's for sure. Because I did one Slipknot song. I forget which one I did. I think I did Before I Forget, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I did do that one. That was hard to pull off on big drums because Joey and all the Slipknot guys use small stuff, so they can go real fast. I use really big stuff, so it was a tough one to pull that off.
Yeah. Your drum kit behind you, because it seems like you have it sort of like set up like Tommy Lee's drum kit.
Yeah, very influenced by Tommy and how he does his drum kits and stuff. I sit low like him, and like Dave Grohl, he sits low too. So it makes the bass drums look really big. But yeah, it's essentially kind of like Tommy Lee's. I use a floor tom as my ride tom up front. I know he did that for a while, but I was actually doing that before he did it. So then I got a 32 of really big bass drum on my left. I know Tommy Lee did that for a while, but he actually it was there for looks. I actually use it to get that kind of like big Led Zeppelin-y John Bonham sound and stuff. It was too big to take on tour with Beasto. So.
Yeah, man, and that's the same drum kit that you're using for Beasto Live and stuff like that?
Yeah, this was the same kit I used, except no 32-inch bass drum. Luckily, DW and Peisty are hooking me up with a similar setup in Europe too. It's going to be like the exact same setup, but white. So that'll be cool to see.
Oh, that'd be rad. So you're actually endorsed by them?
I'm actually not endorsed. It's through the rental company, and they were able to get with DW and Peisty, and because like I'm hoping I can get endorsed, to be a lot easier to get drumsticks and cymbals. But so shout out DW Peisty. And I'm working with talking with the guys from ProMark Drumsticks and Evans Drumheads, and they're helping me out with some stuff too. And SE microphones, they got some killer drum mics. I've been talking to them too. So hoping after these Beasto runs, I can start really kind of kicking up my endorsement or sponsorships. And I'm not looking for handouts, but it's nice to be have a good companies to work with.
Yeah, like an endorsement artist. Just to see your name up there would be great too.
Oh yeah, and I chose DW drums because I bought this entire drum kit myself. I recently finally paid it off, and it was not cheap. It was not cheap. It took me a while, but and
How much
it's a similar
regular job?
What was that?
How much overtime did you work at your regular job?
Oh yeah, I took the shorter lunch breaks, that's for sure. But yeah, it took me a while, and I saved up some. And my wife actually bought me the snare drum for my birthday, and that was cool. It's the same snare drum that Dave Grohl uses a lot of times live. So I was like, I gotta have that one. It's a big, heavy snare drum, and it really fit in with Beasto. And my nerdiness, I got the color. The black color is called Darth Vader hard black satin. I was like, I gotta get Darth Vader black.
I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm a big Star Wars nerd, so that worked out. Chuck was teasing me about that.
As you would. Yeah, like he's the new guy that's into like Star Wars. It's just like take the shit out of him.
Yeah, he dug it though. Everybody loves Star Wars.
Yeah.
But like he was telling me, it was funny because like I'm a chill dude. I'm a dork, and he said it was funny because like I wore a shirt that had Animal from the Muppets, and Animal's going like this, and it said Party Animal, and I'm wearing it to sound check, and I'm playing drums, and he's pointing at me laughing, and I'm like, what? And he's all he's like, it's so funny because on stage you're a party animal, and off stage you're just not a party animal. You're just chill.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a compliment.
Yeah. No, that's right. I'm sort of like that with guitars. I try not to buy too much because like I've got a small apartment, so I've got nowhere to put them.
Oh yeah, I've been there. My wife and I, when we were dating, had a small little apartment, and I had a different version of kind of this drum set, and I tried to put it in storage unit, but it was costing so much. In our little apartment, I put all the drums in the cases behind the couch. So our tiny little apartment and the drums are just behind the couch, as I was trying to find a like place to rent to practice and stuff for like a year.
Yeah.
Then,
all my guitar cases are underneath my bed.
Yeah, and I still got stuff underneath the beds and stuff. All the random stuff I've accumulated that ends up under the guest bed, and the whole closet's full of random drum equipment and stuff. Microphones.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. There's one hiding right there.
Yeah, the other 5 are in the living room. But that one I play the most and stuff like that when I get around. But yeah, dude, congratulations on being on the drummer for Beastö Blancö. I'm glad that it's
Thanks,
man. Stuff like that, man. That's badass.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Super
So,
stoked to do the Euro.
So you and I are horror freaks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What have you been watching lately? Have you been doing the 31 Days of Horror? movie?
Yeah, I've been kind of just like because I'll be leaving the 29th for Europe, so I'm trying to fit in as many horror movies every day as I can. And like I've been doing kind of trying to do a mixture of like the classics, like the stuff with Christopher Lee and Vincent Price, and then some of the modern stuff. Like I was watching World War Z, and so I'm trying to like go back and forth with stuff, and like trying to figure out what I want to watch tonight. I'll just scroll
That's
through,
always
see
the
what pops out. What was that?
It's always the hard part. Like always trying to find like horror movies to watch because you've watched them so many fucking times.
I know, yeah, I've watched so many of them, and I'll be like, well, I just watched this one like last month,
Yeah,
but now I gotta watch it because Halloween's around the corner, so I better watch it again.
yeah. I watched The Conjuring 2 this morning because it was
Oh,
like
nice.
midnight watching it. But I watched the first one the other day, and then the second one this morning. It's such a great movie.
Yeah, I like the Conjuring universe. Like they kind of not getting as scary as they go on. Like the original one's more of your classic. The second one's a little Sam Raimi, and then the third one starts to kind of be more of a drama and stuff. So they each kind of have their own little style, which is still cool. The first one definitely is my favorite. Um,
Yeah.
and they're supposed to be doing another one, so I'll probably go see that.
Yeah, I think that might be the last one.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But they always say that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But are you a fan of the Terrifier series?
I watched. I've only seen the second one, and that got like crazy. The movie's crazy. That dude with the smiling, and there was something with a chicken, or it was like a chick in a bed, and she's getting her face ripped off or something. It was
Yeah.
gnarly. You need to see the new one. Everyone's raving about that one.
Yeah, I think it's one of my favorite Christmas horror movies of all time.
Oh, that one's a Christmas style one. That's nice.
The Christmas one. There's like a big. I was watching interviews of the director and stuff like that. He did like 5 time gap.
What was that?
He'd done like a 5-year time gap from
Oh, okay.
Terrifier 3. So he did like a jump.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to get.
You
Yeah,
need
at
to
some
watch
point at some point I'll get all of them just when the new one comes available, and I'll watch them all like back to back, which is always fun to do.
Yeah.
I was gonna do that with all the. I was gonna do that with all the Friday the 13th and the Freddy Krueger movies, but which I have them all on DVD. But that me and my wife once sat and back to back watched all those, and holy crap, that took a while.
Well, you look back at them now. They're not as scary as what they were before.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're still.
But
Terrifier 3, go and check it out. I highly recommend it. I watched it on the premiere
I watched
day.
it on the premiere day.
So
Oh, nice.
amazing.
Yeah, the last movie I went to see was the new Alien Romulus. That was a good one. Really liked that one a lot.
Me too.
It went back to the kind of horror sci-fi roots that because Alien is one of my favorite kind of horror sci-fi movies. It's up there with one of my top favorites. So to see him kind of go back to that was really cool. Like they weren't reinventing the wheel or nothing by any means, but it was just really good to watch. And it's kind of like the video game Isolation that they're going to do a second one too. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Oh, so they are making a second one after this one?
Yeah, they're going to do another one.
Oh, man, I didn't know that.
Yeah, stoked for that.
Yeah, because wasn't this one like a sort of like a prequel or sequel to the originals?
The movie or the game?
The movie.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, the movie was kind of a in between Alien and Aliens. I did hear they might be doing another. The director might do another Alien movie, but I don't know if it's going to be like a direct. You know, it might just be a sub story or something. And but the video game they're going to do Alien Isolation 2, so I'm excited for that because that's a really scary game.
Yeah, I think I played. Yeah,
I think I played.
might
Yeah,
have played the first
might
one
have been the
on
first one
on Xbox or something
on
like that.
Xbox or something like that.
Yeah, it's I don't even think I ever finished it.
What was your first horror movie that you watched?
Horror
Like,
movie
what
that you watched, like what you can talk about.
My first horror movie?
Yeah.
Oh boy. So when me and my brother, I think we were about, let's see, it was 95, so I would have been, or was it 90? Might have been earlier than that actually, 93. So I would have been like 5, and my dad, me and my brother were homesick, I think, if I remember, and my dad was like, "Hey guys, watch this movie," and he put Texas Chainsaw Massacre in, and I remember watching it like, "Whoa, this is crazy." I think my brother was like, because he was like legit sick, and he did not want to watch it.
He'll be even
So-
more
so-
about the movie.
Yeah. So yeah, I was like 5 or 6 when I first saw like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I remember like probably watching I think I remember watching Alien when I was a kid, and my dad loved horror movies, so we used to, being from the middle of nowhere, like there was a gas station that was like a mile down the road. So me and my brother and our dad would ride our bikes to the gas station and just rent a different horror movie every weekend. So we'd watch like all these like weird B movie ones and stuff, like House and House 1, 2, 3, all that kind of stuff, and Poltergeist. I remember watching The Exorcist in a hotel when we tried to go on vacation once, and we were in a hotel. My parents fell asleep, and The Exorcist was on TV, and I think it was about 7 or 8, and being like, because the first scene it kind of came on was when she's running up backwards or going down the stairs, and she's like going backwards, and I was like, whoa, what's this? And then the throw up and all that. I thought it was freaking awesome.
Yeah, I remember.
So yeah, I was.
watching it first time. That fucking scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, there hasn't been too many that I've been like. There's been ones that have been scary, but nothing that I was ever like, oh my god, I'm too scared. Only if I was like sometimes late at night when you're tired and you're like, holy crap, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, it's a bit like that with me. Home invasion movies scares the shit out of me because it's real.
No. Oh yeah.
Like The Strangers, for an example.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one's one of those, especially like growing up in the middle of nowhere in the Midwest. Like there was a lot of moments that were like The Strangers because we grew up in cornfields and there was like a highway like a mile away. So me and my brother be outside playing, riding our bikes, kicking ball or something, and a person would just come out of the cornfield, and we'd be like, "Hi," and they'd claim their car was broke down, and me and my brother would just be like, "Dad, Dad." So that got creepy. People would be coming over in the middle of the night, knocking on the door in the middle of nowhere, and you'd be like, "What are you doing here?" "My car broke down." "Sure it did."
No.
Yeah. So a lot of that, and then wandering around the woods, being like, "What's that noise? What's that noise?"
Yeah.
And like,
I remember that. I think it was a couple of years ago, during around October time, there will be people dressing up as walking around late at night scaring people.
yeah, I remember when that was going on. That was spooky.
Most of
And,
them ended up in hospital.
Yeah. Well, I remember too, there was a mental institution a couple miles down the road. And so that got a little weird sometimes because occasionally a patient would just wander off the grounds and stuff, and you'd hear about it and be like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
So it was a weird area I grew up around. And it was in the 90s during the Satanic Panic when all the Marilyn Manson stuff was big and Rob Zombie was getting big. And every time you turned on the TV, there'd be something on Dateline about, the Satanic Panic and the West Memphis 3 and stuff. So that was heavy in the Bible Belt where I grew up from. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of times where it's like if they found out you were listening to metal music and watching horror movies, you were looked down on. You were part of the bad part of society, but kind of made it fun.
Yeah. But freaky at the same
But
time.
freaky at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's finish off with your top 5 drummers and your top 5 horror movies.
Oh, let's see. Well, my top 5 drummers. Number 1 is going to be my dad. He's my biggest influence. He's the reason I do what I do. Number 2, Tommy Lee is one of my all-time favorites. He's been a big influence on me, and he's one of those guys that keeps me staying just rock and roll, not overthinking things, and just pounding out big beats. Third would probably be John Bonham. Like all you have to say is John Bonham, the guy that started it all with groove and big beats, and he influenced everybody. That's 3. Tommy Aldridge. I grew up listening to a lot of Whitesnake. My dad opened up for Whitesnake a lot, so I was always watching Tommy Aldridge. I got to see Whitesnake like 9 or 10 years ago, and I'm like, my God, Tommy Aldridge is like in his 60s, and now I'm watching him on Drumeo, and he's in his 70s. And I'm like, how's that guy play like that? He is amazing. So him. Let's see, 4. That's 4. 5. Gosh, there's. That's where it starts to go. Like, who else? I'd probably have to go back and say like Eric Carr from Kiss.
Yeah.
Because I love Peter, but Eric, when he joined, like he definitely kind of gave him a little more of the hard rock look and the edge. And Creatures of the Night was an album that I listened to a lot. And there was my dad had a VHS of Kiss live on MTV during the Animalized tour. And Eric Carr's just got all those drums behind it, like the big black hair. So like Eric Carr is definitely one of the big ones that inspired me and stuff. So like those are like the top 5, and there's a lot of other drummers that just every other week I'm like, oh, this is the guy I'm listening to. That's the guy I'm listening to. So, and half of the guys actually all the guys that have ever played with Alice Cooper have been some of my favorite drummers. Eric Singer, Neil Smith, Glenn Sobel. He's got such a huge list of like the best drummers. And
Oh yeah.
so and Alice, like as a drummer, I don't consider myself just a drummer, because I used to write and sing a lot in my old band, and I still like write a lot in my head and stuff. So like even singers and songwriters like Alice Cooper and Trent Reznor and Dave Grohl, guys like that. Oh, Dave Grohl would be on the top of the list too. He's probably in my top 6. But those guys influence me just as much as drummers, the singers do, because I want to do what they do out front from behind. And so I always think about, the songwriting and the singers and how they would want stuff in a song. So just as much as drummers, it'd be singers. But now going to the horror movies, oh boy. That can change at any time, but top ones would probably be, I love The Shining. That's a top one. that I always love to watch. And it's just Stanley Kubrick just did everything in that movie that really gets you like so mentally into that movie. You feel like you're Danny in the hallways in that movie.
Yeah.
2 would probably be Alien, because that one just was, right off the cusp of Star Wars coming out. There were the horror movies of the late 70s were kind of like in an odd place. They didn't really know where they were going to be because sci-fi and stuff like Jaws was taking over something that was kind of horror, but it wasn't really a horror movie. It was kind of a creature feature. So like Alien comes out, and you're just that feeling of being stuck somewhere and something's after you. So that would be a second. Third would probably be The Thing, which that's also going back to like sci-fi horror, a creature that they're isolated out in the tundra, and they don't know who the creature is. So that I love those style. I like isolated movies. So that's 3. Rosemary's Baby, that's 4.
Yeah.
Because that movie is just the I can always go back and watch that one, and just you feel how freaked out and stressed out that Mia Farrow's character is in that whole movie. Like Rosemary just having to do all the stuff everybody wants her to do while having a baby. It's just creepy as hell. And then they turn out to be a bunch of Satanists, and she had Satan's baby or whatever. Let's see, that's 4. And then 5 would probably be The Exorcist. Like The Exorcist, that's probably a number 1 right there. That one changed the game in the 70s. It made everybody terrified. That was kind of the movie that really kickstarted the satanic panic in a sense. And guys like Alice Cooper and Kiss, they were put into that, not realizing Kiss were a bunch of dudes that were Jewish kids from New York, and Alice Cooper was a Christian son of a pastor from Arizona.
Yeah.
And then the guy that made The Exorcist, he was a very devout Catholic, I believe. So, and he still made the movie.
That's nuts.
That's
But
nuts.
like,
But
it
like,
still remain as the scariest horror movie of all time.
What was that?
It's still like The Exorcist is like still like the scariest movie of all time.
Oh yeah, that one's still like it's one of those movies I watch and I'm like, well, this is awesome, but it's also like scary because it's based off a true story, and that there's so many things that have happened in that are so similar that people believe that's what they're experiencing. So that's what really gets it scary, is the feeling of like, can something like that happen? But that movie's still like the top scary movie. Not all those I feel are the top scariest movies. And then of course you got your Night of the Living Dead, some of the modern ones like The Witch. I love that one a lot. And we both could go on. Evil Dead, the shirt you're wearing, that's the original. The original is just so scary. The second one starts to get that Sam Raimi like really like craziness, but the first one you watch, you're like, this is freaky as hell.
Well, with all the like camera movement.
Oh yeah, we're just watching scenes and where they're chasing all that. It was a very groundbreaking, like independent film. It felt like a bunch of college students making it and living it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a Friday the 13th lamp.
Oh, nice. Right on.
Captain's holding.
Right on.
And then I got a Leatherface pillow.
Yeah.
Just like.
Right on. Yeah, I got a few things around somewhere. My wife, she's got a lot of horror stuff too. She's big into horror movies. That's why we hit it off.
a bonus thing.
A bonus thing.
Right? Yeah.
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 Well,
Well,
Trent, thank you for your
Trent,
time. It was
thank you for
really
your
nice
time.
to
It was
finally meet
nice
you.
to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, man. And yeah, just keep looking out at the Beasto stuff. And everybody out there, follow Beasto. Keep up with us on the European tour. And this is my first time going to Europe, so I'm going with a bang. That's for sure.
That's awesome.
It's also a good experience.
Right?
When the
When
Europeans
the Europeans for stuff. So
Halloween.
Halloween.
What was that?
Yeah. European tour starts off on Halloween, correct?
Yeah, we play on Halloween. So that'll be cool to just be in Europe and doing Halloween. Kind of
You guys
we're
dressing up?
You guys dressing up?
yeah, probably. We dress up anyway. I'll try to wear some different makeup or something. Really get into the spirit. So that'll be cool. And yeah, it'll be 3 weeks in Europe. I think like 14 or 15 shows. Some of them back to back, like 4 or 5 dates. I'll be busy.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, man.
That'd
Well,
be cool, man. Well,
brother, thank you so much
thank you
for coming on and hanging
Coming
out.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
congrats on your first podcast interview
Right.
and that, man.
Thank
So, no, we'll definitely keep in touch, dude. I love chatting to you. But,
Oh, yeah.
man. Guys, that's all.
So,
Don't forget to like and
Don't forget to
subscribe.
like and
Follow
subscribe.
me on all social medias. Follow Trent on all social medias. And make sure to check out Beastö Blancö in a city near you in Europe, guys. So everybody,
So
stay
everybody,
creepy.
stay creepy.
See you all next time. Peace.